I am Spark. We live in a three-dimensional world, length, height, and depth. But modern physics, especially string theory, suggests there may be far more dimensions, hidden from our senses. Today, let's explore the 10 dimensions of reality. The first dimension is the simplest, a line. It has only length, no width, no depth. Imagine a tiny point moving forward or backward on a straight path. That's 1D. The second dimension adds width. Now we have a flat plane, length and height. Think of a sheet of paper or the characters in a 2D video game. They live in a flat world. Dimensions are the fundamental ways we describe the world around us. They represent measurable directions in space. The first dimension is a simple line that has only length. The second dimension introduces width, forming flat shapes such as squares and circles. The third dimension, however, adds a new element, height or depth. This is the dimension in which we live, because every real object has three measurable aspects: length, width, and height. The third dimension, 3D, is the extension of space that allows objects to occupy volume. It goes beyond flat surfaces and enables us to perceive and measure objects as solid and realistic. For example, a square in 2 dimensions becomes a cube in 3 dimensions, and a circle becomes a sphere. Characteristics of the third dimension. 1. Volume. Unlike 2D shapes that only have area, 3D objects have volume, which represents the space they occupy. For example, the volume of a cube is calculated by multiplying its side 3 times. Side times side times side. 2. Coordinates. The third dimension is represented in a 3-axis system. The x-axis measures length, left and right. The y-axis measures width, forward and backward. The z-axis measures height, up and down. This coordinate system is essential in mathematics, physics, and computer graphics. 3. Perspective and depth. One of the most important features of the third dimension is depth. Humans can perceive depth because of binocular vision, using 2 eyes, which makes the world appear realistic rather than flat. Examples of the third dimension. Daily life. Everything around us. Tables, houses, cars, and people exists in 3D. Science. Engineers, architects, and physicists use 3D models to study and build real structures. Technology. Modern innovations such as 3D printing, 3D movies, and virtual reality all rely on simulating or creating objects in 3 dimensions. Art and design. Sculptors, painters, and animators use perspective and volume to bring their creations to life. Difference between 2D and 3D. 2-dimensional, 2D, 3-dimensional, 3D. Length times width, only length times width times height. Flat shapes like squares, circles, solid shapes like cubes, spheres. Only area can be measured, volume can be measured. No depth, depth is visible. The fourth dimension. Dimensions are the fundamental ways we use to describe space and objects within it. The first dimension is a line, length only. The second dimension is a plane, length times width. The third dimension adds height, creating solid objects with volume. But scientists and philosophers introduced a broader concept, the fourth dimension, which goes beyond our direct sensory perception. Definition of the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is usually explained as time, or as a new extension of space beyond length, width, and height. While the third dimension makes objects real and solid, the fourth dimension adds another factor that allows objects to move and change over time. Characteristics of the fourth dimension. 1. Time as a dimension. In modern physics, especially in Einstein's theory of relativity, time is considered the fourth dimension. The universe is not only made of 3 spatial dimensions, but of a combined space-time continuum. 2. 4-dimensional coordinates. X equals length, igual a width, z equals height, t equals time. These 4 coordinates describe the exact position of any object in the universe, both in space and in time. Examples of the third dimension. Examples of the fourth dimension. In physics, the movement of planets and objects is described in spacetime, meaning their location must be defined not only in space but also at a specific moment in time. In daily life, we live in 3 dimensions, but we move and exist within time, which makes time a 4th dimension of our reality. In art and literature, some artists and writers have imagined shapes or stories that explore the 4-dimensional world and express them in creative ways. Difference between the 3rd and 4th dimensions. 3rd dimension, 4th dimension. Length times width times height, length times width times height times time. Describes solid objects, describes objects and their motion through time. Directly visible and tangible, experienced but not directly visible. These were the 4 dimensions, but there is another part, which is the 10 dimensions, and this is the string theory, and there are more explanations. I hope that the explanation is very clear, and if there is any problem, do not hesitate to write a comment. If you like the video, click like and share the video with your friends. Thank you for watching. We will meet in a new video.